What were the weaknesses of WWII radar and sonar? When we think about WWII, radar and sonar often come to mind as game-changing technologies. But did you know they had their fair share of weaknesses? Let's break down how these systems, despite their advancements, faced significant challenges during the war. Starting with radar, one major issue was its limited altitude and range accuracy. Early radar systems struggled to provide precise altitude readings. Sometimes, these readings were off by as much as 1,000 feet. This inaccuracy made it tough for fighter aircraft to intercept enemy planes effectively, leading to missed attacks even when radar detected them. Another problem was the difficulty in distinguishing friend from foe. The identification friend or foe system was still developing, and not all friendly aircraft were equipped with it. This lack of clarity often resulted in confusion, especially at long distances, which could lead to friendly fire incidents. Environmental conditions also posed a challenge for radar. Weather phenomena like rain or storms could disrupt radar signals, creating false targets on screens. This clutter made it harder to identify actual enemy aircraft or ships. Additionally, radar systems were vulnerable to electronic countermeasures. Enemies would use tactics like dropping strips of metal foil, known as chaff, to create false echoes on radar screens. This tactic confused operators and concealed real aircraft movements. Technical and operational limitations were also a concern. Early radar equipment was complex and required careful calibration. Misadjusted antennas or inexperienced operators could lead to errors. Maintenance and training challenges further limited optimal use of these systems. Radio communication issues complicated matters as well. Fighter direction relied on medium-high frequency radios that were sometimes unreliable. These radios were also subject to enemy interception or jamming, making coordination difficult after radar detection. Lastly, sea surface reflection problems affected radar used for air search over oceans. Meter wavelength radar suffered from self-interference due to reflections off the sea surface, creating blind spots or confusing signals. Now let's shift our focus to sonar. While it was essential for detecting submarines, sonar had its own set of limitations. Early sonar systems had relatively short detection ranges. They struggled to distinguish between different underwater objects, like marine life or debris, and actual enemy submarines. Environmental factors also played a role. Water temperature, salinity, and ocean currents could affect sonar signal propagation, sometimes reducing its effectiveness. Submarines developed tactics to evade sonar detection, such as running silently or deploying decoys. This made it even harder for operators to detect threats. Speaking of operators, sonar interpretation relied heavily on skilled personnel. Errors in interpretation could lead to missed detections or false alarms, which could be costly in combat situations. In practical terms, these weaknesses meant that while radar and sonar provided critical early warning and targeting information, they were not foolproof. Commanders had to consider inaccuracies and potential deception. Often, they relied on multiple detection methods and human judgment to respond effectively. Despite these challenges, radar and sonar represented major technological advances that shaped naval and air warfare during WWII.